All right, it's 10 o'clock, so we are going to get started. The way we do this is it is read through completely in Hebrew and then through completely in English, and then we take a pause. So I will be asking the readers to unmute themselves when their time comes and then to mute themselves and then unmute. So let me share the screen. Hold on. Um, and let's say the blessing for study of Torah, because this is quite an achievement that we're looking for. It's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. To
Amen.
Amen. Okay, for all of us to involve ourselves in study of sacred texts. So we start our big read here with Yael Bat Chava. We're on Psalm 73, and why don't you take it away?
Which am I reading the entire psalm or any
No, you're
particular?
reading 1 through 14, and then Ben is reading 15 through 28. And if you're not reading, please keep yourself on mute.
אוקיי. מזמור לאסף, אך טוב לישראל אלוהים לברי לבב. ואני כמעט נטיו רגלי, כעין שופכו אושרי. כי קינאתי בהוללים שלום רשעים אראה, כי אין חרצובות למותם ובריא אולם. בעמל אנוש אינמו, ואם אדם לא ינוגעו. לכן אנקתמו גאווה, יעטוף שיט חמס למו. יצא מחלב אינמו, עברו משכיות לבב. ימיקו וידברו ורע עושק ממרום ידברו. שטו בשמיים פיהם ולשונם תהלך בארץ. לכן ישוב עמו הלום ומי מלא ימצו למו. ואמרו, איכה ידע אל, ויש דעה ועליון. הנה אלה רשעים ושלבי עולם השיגו חיל. אך ריק זיקיתי לבבי וארחץ בניקיון כפיי, ואהי נגוע כל היום ותוכחתי לבקרים.
Thank you. Now Ben takes over. Ben Shafran, are you with us?
I forgot to unmute, sorry. אם אמרתי אספר לך, מו הנה דור בניך בגדתי. והחשבה לדעת זו, עמל הוא בעיניי. עד אבוא אל מקדשי אל, אבינה לאחריתם. אך בחלקות השיט למו, הפלתם למשורות. איך היו לשמה, רגע ספו תמו מן בלהות. כחלום מהקיץ אדוני, בעיר צלמם תפסה. כי יתחמץ לבבי וכליותי אשתונן. ואני בר, ולא אדע בהמות הייתי עמך. ואני תמיד עמך, אחזת ביד ימיני. בעצתך תכנני ואחר כבוד תיקחני. מי לי בשמיים, ועמך לא חפצתי בארץ. כלה שערי ולבבי, צור לבבי וחלקי אלוהים לעולם. כי הנה רחקיך יאבדו, יצמת נא כל זונה ממך. ואני קרבת אלוהים לי טוב, שתי באדוני מחסי, לספר כל מעלותיך.
Thank you. Now, Judy Frank, you will be reading our English for us. If you could unmute yourself.
A Psalm of Asaph. God is truly good to Israel, to those whose heart is pure. As for me, my feet had almost strayed, my steps were nearly led off course. For I envied the wanton, I saw the wicked at ease. Death has no pangs for them, their body is healthy. They have no part in the travail of men. They are not afflicted like the rest of mankind. So pride adorns their necks, lawlessness enwraps them as a mantle. Fat shuts out their eyes, their fancies are extravagant. They scoff and plan evil. From their eminence they plan wrongdoing. They set their mouths against heaven and their tongues range over the earth. So they pound his people again and again, until they are drained of their very last tear. Then they say, how could God know? Is there knowledge with the Most High? Such are the wicked, ever tranquil, they amass wealth. It was for nothing that I kept my heart pure and washed my hands in innocence, sensing that I have been constantly afflicted, that each morning brings new punishments. Had I decided to say these things, I should have been false to the circle of your disciples. So I applied myself to understand this, but it seemed a hopeless task till I entered God's sanctuary and reflected on their fate. You surround them with flattery, you make them fall through blandishments. How suddenly are they ruined, wholly swept away by terrors. When you are aroused, you despise their image as one does a dream after waking. Oh Lord, my mind was stripped of its reason, my feelings were numb. I was adult without knowledge. I was brutish towards you, yet I was always with you. You held my right hand. You guided me by your counsel and led me toward honor. Whom else have I in heaven? And having you, I want no one on earth. My body and mind fail, but God is the stay of my mind, my portion forever. Those who keep far from you perish. You annihilate all who are untrue to you. As for me, nearness to God is good. I have made the Lord God my refuge, that I may recount all your works.
Thank you, Judith. We'll take a minute, and then Stephen, Sarah Siegel and Scott Soloway are sharing the Hebrew for 74, and Stephen Deem is going to be doing the English. So if the three of you could unmute yourself.
Maskil Asaf Lama Elohim Zanachta Lanetzach Yashan Abcha Betzon Maritecha Schor Adadcha Kanita Kedem Gaalta Shevet Nachalatecha Hartzion Ze Shakanta Bo Harima Fa'amecha Lemashuot Netzach Kol Hera Oyev Bakodesh Sha'agu Tzorecha Bekerev Moadecha Samu Ototam Otot Yivada Kemevi Lemala Bisavach Eitz Kardmumot Vata Pitucheha Yachad Bechashil Vechelapot Yahalomun Shilchu Va'esh Mikdashecha La'aretz Chilu Mishkan Shemecha Amru V'libam Ninam Yachad Sarfu Chol Moadei El Ba'aretz Ototenu lo ra'inu ein od navi velo itanu yodea adma. Admatai Elohim yecharef tsar yinaetz oyev shimcha lanetzach lama tashiv yadcha v'minecha mikerav chekcha chale. Velohim Malki Mikedem Poel Yeshuot Bekerev Haaretz.
Thank you, Scott.
Sure. Ata forarta ba'az chayam shibarta roshe taninim al hamayim. Ataritzatsta roshe liviatan titnenu ma'achal amlatziyim. Ata vakata ma'ayan vanachal. Ata hoshavta naharot eitan. L'cha yom af l'cha laila. Ata hachinota ma'or vashamesh. Ata hitzavta kol gvulot aretz. Kayitz v'chorev ata yitzartan. Zachor zot oyev chedef Adonai. V'af naval niatsu Shmecha. Al titein l'chayat nefesh torecha, חיית עניייך, אל תשכח לנצח. הבט לברית, כי מלאו מחשקי ארץ נאות חמאס. אל ישוב דח נכלם, אני ואביון יהללו שמך. קום אלוהים ריבה ריבך, זכור חרפתך מיני נבל כל היום. אל תשכח כל צורריך, שעון קמך עולה תמיד.
A maskil of Asaph. Why, Elohim, do you forever reject us? Why do you fume and anger at the flock you tend? Remember the community you made yours long ago, your very tribe that you redeemed, Mount Zion, where you dwell. Bestir yourself because of the perpetual tumult and all the outrages of the enemy in the sanctuary. Your foes roar inside your meeting place. They take their signs for true signs. It's like people wielding axes against a gnarled tree. With hatchet and pike, they hacked away at its carved work. They made your sanctuary go up in flames. They brought low in dishonor.
Stephen, I'm sorry. Are we reading Psalm 73, 74?
74, yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking at something different on my screen.
Verse 7.
They made your sanctuary go up in flames. Did I get that wrong?
That's right.
They made your sanctuary go up in flames. They brought low in dishonor the dwelling place of your presence. They resolved, let us destroy them altogether. They burned all the holy tabernacles in the land. No signs appear for us. There is no longer any prophet. No one among us. For how long? Till when, Elohim, will the foe blaspheme? Will the enemy forever revile your name? Why do you hold back your hand, your right hand? Draw it out of your bosom. Elohim, my ruler of old, who brings deliverance throughout the land. It was you who drove back the sea with your might, you who smashed the heads of the monsters in the water. It was you who crushed the heads of Leviathan, who left him as food for the denizens of the desert. It was you who released the springs and torrents, who made mighty rivers run dry. The day is yours, the night also. It was you who set in place the orb of the sun. You fixed all the boundaries of the earth, summer and winter. You made them. Be mindful of how the enemy blasphemes the Holy One, how base people revile your name. Do not deliver your dove to the wild beast. Do not ignore forever the band of your lowly ones. Look to the covenant, for the dark places of the land are full of haunts of lawlessness. Let not the downtrodden turn away disappointed. Let the poor and needy praise your name. Rise, O Elohim, champion your cause. Be mindful that you are blasphemed by base people all day long. Do not ignore the shouts of your foes, the din of your adversaries that ascends all the time. Hello?
Hello,
Harold,
Harold.
have we lost you?
Harold, you're on
Okay,
mute.
just muted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. And what I was saying was, thank you, Sarah. You can start when you want with the Hebrew, and Barbara will read the English.
Lamnatseach al tishchet mizmor la'asaf shir. Hodenu lecha Elohim, hodenu, v'karov shimcha, sifru niflotecha. Ki ekach moed ani mi yeshari mishpat. Nimogim eretz v'chol yoshveha. Anochi techtanteni amudeha sela. Amarti le'olim al tahalu v'l'rshaim al tarimu keren. Al tarimu limarom karnechem tidavru b'tavara take. Ki lo matzati u'meimarav lo mimidaber harim. Ki Elohim shofet ze yashpil v'ze yarim. Ki kos biyad Adonai v'yayin chamar malei mesach v'yagar mizeh achshmireha yimseu yishtu kol roshei aretz. V'ani agid l'olam azamra Elohei Yaakov v'chol charnai rishayim egda turom mena karnot tzadik.
Thank you. And now Barbara Grindell is our English reader.
Yes. For the leader, Al Taspeth, a psalm of Aesop, a song. We praise you, O God, we praise you. Your presence is near. Men tell of your wondrous deeds. As the time I chose, I give judgment equitably. Earth and all its inhabitants dissolve. It is I who keep the pillars firm. To wanton men I say, do not be wanton. To the wicked, do not lift up your horns. Do not lift your horns up high in the vainglorious bluster. For what lifts a man comes not from the east or the west or the wilderness. For God it is who gives judgment. He brings down one man, he lifts up another. There is a cup in Adonai's hand with foaming wine fully mixed. From this he pours. All the wicked of the earth drink, draining it to the very dregs. As for me, I will declare forever. I will sing a hymn to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up.
Thank you very much. Those readers can mute themselves. And our next readers are Judy Hollander for the Hebrew and Donna Gray for the English on 76. If you just wait 1 minute and then get started, Judy.
Lamnatseach bin ginot mizmor la'asaf shir. Noda b'Yehuda Elohim b'Yisrael gadol shemo. Vayehi b'Shalem suko onato b'Tzion. Shama sibar rishfei kashet Magen v'cherev u'milchama sela. Naor ata adir meharei taref. Eshtolu abirei lev namu shanatem v'lo matzu chol ashnei chalil yedehem. Miga aratecha Elohei Yaakov nirdam v'rechev v'sus. Ata nora ata mi ya'amod lifanecha me'az apecha. Mishamayim hishmata din eretz yara v'shakata. Bekum la mishpat Elohim lahoshia kol anvei eretz sela. Ki chamat adam todecha she'eret chemot tachgor. nidaru v'shalmu ladonai Elohecha kol v'sivav yevilu shalem lamora. Yivsor ruach negidim nora lemalchei aretz.
For the leader with instrumental music, a psalm of Asaph, a song. God has made himself known in Judah. His name is great in Israel. Salem became his abode, Zion his den. There he broke the fiery arrows of the bow, the shield and the sword of war. Selah. You were resplendent, glorious on the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted were despoiled. They were in a stupor. The bravest of men could not lift a hand. At your blast, O God of Jacob, horse and chariot lay stunned. O you are awesome. Who can withstand you when you are enraged? In heaven you pronounced sentence. The earth was numbed with fright. As God rose to execute judgment, to deliver all the lowly of the earth, Selah. The fiercest of men shall acknowledge you when you gird on the last bit of fury. Make vows and pay them to the Lord your God. All who are around him shall bring tribute to the Awesome One. He curbs the spirit of princes, inspires awe in the kings of the earth.
Thank you, both Judy and Donna. Our next psalm will be read in Hebrew by Scott. Will be read through in Hebrew by Scott. The English is shared by Saul and Nina. So Scott, give it a minute and then you can take it away whenever you'd like.
Lamanatseach al yidutun la'asaf mizmor. Koli el Elohim ve'etzaka koli el Elohim va'azin elai. B'yom tzarati Adonai darashti yadi laila nigra v'lo tafug me'ana hinachem nafshi. Ezkara Elohim ve'maya asicha ותתעף רוחי סלע. אחזת שמורות עיניי, נפעמתי ולא אדבר. חישבתי ימים מקדם שנות עולמים. אזכרה נגינתי בלילה, עם לבבי אשיך, ויחפש רוחי. הלעולמים יזנח אדוני, ולא יוסיף לרצות עוד. האפס לנצח חסדו, גמר אומר ודור ודור. השכח חנות אל, אם קפץ באף רחמיו סלע. ואומר חלותי היא, שנות ימין עליון. אזכור מעליה, כי אזכרה מקדם פלאיך. והגיתי בכל פעליך, ובעלילותיך אשיך. אלוהים בקודש דרכך, מי אל גדול כאלוהים? אתה האל עושה פלא, הודעת בעמים עוזיך. גאלת בזרוע עמך, בני יעקב ויוסף סלע. ראו חמיים אלוהים, ראו חמיים יחילו, אף ירגזו תהומות. זורמו מים, אבות קול נתנו שחקים, אף חצוציך יתהלכו. כל רעמך בגלגל, העירו ורקים תבל, רגזה ותרעש הארץ. בים דרכך ושפילך במים רבים, בעקבותיך לא נודעו. נחית חצון עמך, ביד משה ואהרון.
Harold, how far am I supposed to go?
Thank you so
Harold?
much. And could everybody say that? Yes, can you hear me, Saul?
I can now.
Oh,
How
okay,
far
what
am I
was your
supposed to
question?
go? Because I prepared the whole psalm.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go to one, you go 1 through 10, and then Nina is 11 through 21.
Okay. For the leader on Yedutun of Asaph, a psalm, I cry aloud to God, I cry to God that God may give me ear. In my time of distress, I turn to Adonai with my hand uplifted. My eyes flow all night without respite. I will not be comforted. I call God to mind. I moan, I complain. My spirit fails. Selah. You have held my eyelids open. I am overwrought. I cannot speak. My thoughts turn to days of old, to years long past. I recall at night their jibes at me. I commune with myself. My spirit inquires, will Adonai reject forever and never again show favor? Has God's faithfulness disappointed forever? Will God's promise be unfulfilled for all time? Has God forgotten how to pity? Has God in anger stifled God's compassion? Selah.
And I said, it is my fault that the right hand of the Most High has changed. I recall the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I recall your wonders of old. I recount all your works. I speak of your acts. O God, your ways are holiness. What God is as great as God? You are the God who works wonders. You have manifested your strength among the peoples. By your arm, you redeemed your people, the children of Jacob and Joseph. Selah. The waters saw you, O God. The waters saw you and were convulsed. The very deep quaked as well. Clouds streamed water. The heavens rumbled. Your arrows flew about. Your thunder rumbled like wheels. Lightning lit up the world. The earth quaked and trembled. Your way was through the sea, your path through the mighty waters. Your tracks could not be seen. You led your people like a flock in the care of Moses and Aaron.
Thank you very much. Our next readers for Psalm 78 are Darina in Hebrew and then Saul, and Debbie, excuse me, hold on one second. So Darina 1 through 20, Saul 21 through 40, and then 41 through 60, Sarah Siegel 61 through 72. In English, Debbie Metric will be reading 1 through 40, and Goldie will be reading 41 through 60. So why don't we read it all the way through in Hebrew and then in English. Darina, when you're ready.
מזכיר לאסף, האזינה עמי תורתי, הטו אוזניכם לאמרי פי, אפתח במשל פי, אביע ידות מיני קדם, אשר שמענו ובדהם ואבותינו ספרו לנו. לא נחת מפניהם לדור אחרון. מספרים תהילות לאדוני. וזו ונפלאותיו אשר עשה. ויקם עבדות ביעקב ותורה שם בישראל אשר ציווה את אבותינו להודיעם לבניהם. למען ידעו דור אחרון פנים ייוולדו. יקומו יספרו ושימו באלוהים כסלם ולא ישכחו מעללי אל ומצוותיו ינצורו ולא יהיו כבותם דור סורר ומורה, דור לא הכין ליבו ולא נאמנה אל רוחו. בני אפרים נושקי רומי קשת, הפכו ביום קרב, לא שמרו ברית אלוהים. ובתורתי ובתורתו מאנו ללכת.
Dorina,
Sorry.
no. It's beautiful, but I think we might have given you a little bit more than at this level you feel totally comfortable with. Would you like someone else? I can get someone else to do the last 10 verses if it's easier for you. And this was a beautiful contribution on your part. It's up to you. Is that okay? What would you like to do?
Oh, it's better. I just feel so nervous that.
Do you want to keep on going or should we have someone else step in?
If there is someone else, because I'm too slow.
All right.
Do you want me to pick up?
If you could
Yes,
pick up Saul, that would be
great.
terrific. Thank you. And Dorina, it was a beautiful, beautiful reading.
Yes.
Okay.
Kol
Thank you so
hakavod,
much.
Dorina.
Yes, kol hakavod.
Vayishkechu alilotav, v'niflaotav asher heram, neged avotam asa fela, be'eretz Mitzrayim sidei tzoan. Bak hayam vaya'apireim, vayatzev mayim kamo neid, vayanchem be'anan yomam, v'chol halayla ba'or eish. Yivakat tzurim b'midbar, vayashk kehomot rabah, vayotzi nozlim mitzala, vayored kanharot mayim, vayosifu od lachato lo, lamrot el yom b'tziyah, vayinasu el bilvavam, lish'al ochel l'nafsham, vayidabru belohim amru, hayuchal el la'aroch shulchan b'midbar, hein hikar tzur v'yazuvu mayim, unachalim yistafu. Dorina, could you silence yourself?
Dorina, please mute yourself as you type.
Hagam lechem yuchal tate, im yachin she'er la'amo, lachin shama Adonai b'yitabar, ve'esh niskab b'Yaakov, v'gam af alal b'Yisrael. Ki lo ha'eminu b'Elohim, v'lo batchu b'shuato, v'yitzav shechakim mima'al, v'daltei shamayim patach, v'yamter alehem man le'echol, udgan shamayim natan lamo, lechem abirim achal ish, tzedam shalach lahem lasova, yasa kadim b'shamayim, v'yinaheg be'uzo teman, v'yamter alehem ke'afar she'ed, uv'chol yamim of kanaf, v'yapel b'kereb machanehu, saviv l'mishkanotav, v'yochlu v'yisba'u me'od, v'tavatam yavi lahem, lo zaru mitavatam, od achlam b'fihem, va'af Elohim alavehem, v'yaharog b'mishmanehem, v'bachurei Yisrael hichriya, b'chal zot chatu od, v'lo ha'eminu b'niflaotav, v'yachel behebel yimehem, ushnotam b'behala, im haragam udrashuhu, v'shavu v'shicharu el, v'yizkaru ki Elohim tzuram, ve'el elyon goalam. V'yifatuhu b'fihem, uvilshonam yichazavu lo, v'libam lo nachon imo, v'lo ne'emnu b'vrito, והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, והירפו להשיב אפו, ולא יאיר כל חמתו. ויזכור כי בשר המה, רוח הולך ולא ישוב. כמה יאמרוהו כמדבר, יעציבוהו בשמעון, וישובו וינשאו אל וקדוש ישראל היטבו. לא זכרו את ידו, יום אשר פדם מיני צר, אשר שם במצרים אותותיו, ומופתיו בשדה צואב, ויהפוך לדם יוריהם, ונוזליהם בל ישתיון, ישלח בהם ערו ויאכלם, וצפרדע ותשחיתם, וייתן לחציל יבולם, בגיעם לארבה, יהרוג ברד גפנם, ושכמותם בחנמל, ויסגר לברד בעירם, ופניקנוקיהם להרשיפון. I've gone too far, I'm sorry. Harold?
I have you going to 60.
Okay,
And
because
then
I thought you said
takes
to
up on
40.
61. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I was misreading. You go to 60.
Okay. Yishalach bam charon apol, evra b'za'am b'tzara, mishlachat malachei ra'im, yifaletz natib la'apo, lo chasach mimaved nafsham, b'chayatam ladever hiskir, vayach kol bechor b'mitzrayim, reshit onim ba'ahalei cham, vayasa katzon amo, vayinahagim ke'eder bamidbar, vayanchem lebetach velo fachadu, ve'et oyevehem kisa hayam, vayavi'em el gavul katsho, har zer kanta yimino, vigaresh mipnehem goyim, vayapilein bechebel nachalam, Vayashkein ba'aleihem shiftei Yisrael, vayinasu v'yamru et Elohim elyon, ve'edotav lo shamaru, vayisgu vayibgedu ka'avotam, nechpechu kekeshet remeya, vayachisuhu b'vamotam, uvifsileihem yakni uhu. Shama Elohim b'yit abba, vayim'as me'od b'Yisrael, vayitosh mishkan Shilo, ohel shikein ba'adam, vayitein l'vi uzo, v'tifar.
Well, that was,
Whoops.
so that's fine. Sarah Siegel now takes up on line 61, line 61 through 72.
Okay.
Vayiten Lashvi uzo v'tifarto biyad sar. Vayasker lacherev amo uvnachalato hitabar. Bachurav achla esh uvtulotav lo halalu. Kohanav bacherev naflu ve'al monotav lo tivkena. Vayikan ki Hashem Adonai ki gibor mitronen miyain. Vayach tzarav achor cherpat olam natan lamo. Vayim'as ba'ohel Yosef uveshevet Ephraim lo vachar. Vayivchar et shevet Yehuda et Hartzion asher ahev. Vayiven kemo ramim mikdasho ke'eretz yesada leolam. Vayivchar b'David avdo Vikachehu mimichlot tzon. Meachar alot hevio lirot bayakov amo uvi-Yisrael nachalato. Vayir'em kitom levavo uvit vunot kapav yinachem.
Thank you so much. Let me rewind to the beginning here and turn to our English readers. And let me just make sure we have this right. For English readers, I have Debbie Metric reading 1 through 40 and then Goldley reading 41 to the end. So Debbie, if you would start whenever you'd like.
Okay. A maskil of Asaph. Give ear, my people, to my teaching. Turn your ear to what I say. I will expound a theme, hold forth on the lessons of the past. Things we have heard and known that our fathers have told us. We will not withhold them from their children, telling the coming generation the praises of the Lord and his might and the wonders he performed. He established a decree in Jacob, ordained a teaching in Israel, charging our fathers to make them known to their children, that a future generation might know, children yet to be born, and in turn tell their children, that they might put their confidence in God and not forget God's great deeds, but observe his commandments, and not be like their fathers, a wayward and defiant generation, a generation whose heart was inconstant, whose spirit was not true to God. Like the Ephraimite bowmen who played false in the day of battle, they did not keep God's covenant. They refused to follow his instruction. They forgot his deeds and the wonders that he showed them. He performed marvels in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, the plain of Zon. He split the sea and took them through it. He made the waters stand like a wall. He led them with a cloud by day and throughout the night by the light of fire. He split rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as if from the great deep. He brought forth streams from a rock and made them flow down like a river. But they went on sinning against him, defying the Most High in the parched land. To test God was in their mind when they demanded food for themselves. They spoke against God, saying, "Can God spread a feast in the wilderness?" True, he struck the rock and waters flowed, streams gushed forth, but can he provide bread? Can he supply his people with meat? The Lord heard and he raged. Fire broke out against Jacob. Anger flared up at Israel because they did not put their trust in God, did not rely on his deliverance. So he commanded the skies above. He opened the doors of heaven and rained manna upon them for food, giving them heavenly grain. Each man ate a hero's meal. He sent them provision in plenty. He set the east wind moving in heaven and drove the south wind by his might. He rained meat on them like dust, winged birds like the sands of the sea, making them come down inside his camp, around his dwelling place. They ate till they were sated. He gave them what they craved. They had not yet wearied of what they craved. The food was still in their mouths when God's anger flared up at them. He slew their sturdiest, struck down the youth of Israel. Nonetheless, they went on sinning and had no faith in his wonders. He made their days end in futility, their years in sudden death. When he struck them, they turned to him and sought God once again. They remembered that God was their rock, God Most High, their Redeemer. Yet they deceived him with their speech, lied to him with their words. Their hearts were inconstant toward him. They were untrue to his covenant. But he, being merciful, forgave iniquity and would not destroy. He restrained his wrath time and again and did not give full vent to his fury. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a passing breath that does not return? How often did they defy him in the wilderness? Did they grieve him in the wasteland?
Again and again they tested God, vexed the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember her strength or the day she redeemed them from the foe. How she displayed her signs in Egypt, her wonders in the plain of Zoan. She turned their rivers into blood. She made their waters undrinkable. She inflicted upon them swarms of insects to devour them, frogs to destroy them. She gave their crops over to grubs, their produce to locusts. She killed their vines with hail, their sycamores with frost. She gave their beasts over to hail, their cattle to lightning bolts. She inflicted her burning anger upon them, wrath, indignation, trouble, a band of deadly messengers. She cleared a path for her anger. She did not stop short of slaying them, but gave them over to pestilence. She struck every firstborn in Egypt, the first fruits of their vigor in the tents of Ham. She and set her people moving like sheep, drove them like a flock in the wilderness. She led them in safety. They were unafraid. As for their enemies, the sea covered them. She brought them to her holy realm, the mountain her right hand had acquired. She expelled nations before them, settled the tribes of Israel in their tents, allotting them their portion by the line. Yet they defiantly tested God Most High and did not observe her decrees. They fell away, disloyal like their fathers. They played false like a treacherous bow. They vexed her with their high places. They incensed her with their idols. God heard it and was enraged. She utterly rejected Israel. She forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent she had set among men. She let her might go into captivity, her glory into the hands of the foe. She gave her people over to the sword. She was enraged at her very own. Fire consumed their young men, and their young women remained unwed. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows could not weep. Adonai awoke as from sleep, like a warrior shaking off wine. She beat back her foes, dealing them lasting disgrace. She rejected the clan of Joseph. She did not choose the tribe of Ephraim. She did not choose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which she loved. She did choose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which she loved. She built her sanctuary like the heavens, like the earth that she established forever. She chose David, her servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. She brought him from minding the nursing ewes to tend her people Jacob, Israel, her very own. He tended them with blameless heart, with skillful hands. He led them.
Harold, you're on mute again.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for, let me unmute myself this way. Thank you very much. This was wonderful. This is difficult Hebrew. It's even complicated English. Everybody did a wonderful job. I apologize on my end. As Rabbi Kleinbaum says, sometimes these days we have a perfection in our imperfection. So I hope that that is okay. I think we have all of the passages for tomorrow all lined up. And I'm just going to ask someone who will volunteer to look at chat, because I cannot see chat while I'm sharing the screen. Someone can just email me who would like to do that. Thank you very much to everybody, and we will see you tomorrow at 9:45. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Harold.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Harold.
Thank you.
What are we doing tomorrow? Which ones, Harold?
Do you have access to this, to the spreadsheet?
Is it on there, the days also?
Yes, it's
I
all
didn't
there.
notice.
If you just go on, you'll see everything that we're doing. We will
Okay.
start where we left off here with 79, and I have us programmed to go through 88, but we never quite know exactly how much we get through in a day.
Okay, thank you.